Hey everybody, Nick here, and today we're going to do some disassembly maintenance on this little guy right here. This is the HEAdesigns Hunter. Weird freaking knife. I mean, at some level, pretty neat, but another level, really weird. Let's go ahead, pop it open, see what's all going on inside here. Bedding T8 in the middle there. Yes, okay. A little hint of... Is that a thread-locked, non-tooled, free-spinning pivot? Yes, it is. So I'm able to luckily put enough sort of pressure down on this side to avoid that, but that could get real quick. That's not great. See, okay. Now, in the name of absolute full disclosure, Disassembly by the maker, that's not what I set out to disclose. Actually, what I want to disclose is the fact that I am just about to film the review of this guy. This is a rare example. My life has been completely hectic in the last little while here, and this is a rare example of a time where I have done the bulk of my review before I did the cleanup. This guy came to me factory fresh, so it wasn't like, I had to worry about, oh, well, maybe it's not in great condition, and such, but I also, I just didn't have time. I had more time to carry than I had time to sit down and maintain. And so, as a result, yeah, I haven't carried this guy, or I haven't cleaned this guy up yet. And so I was, I always ask myself, well, do I have to do the cleanup in order to film the review? Can I just do, can I put the cart before the horse? Can I? And then that just happened, where it's like, this is something that I need to mention in the review, that I need to bring up, because free spinning pivots with no tooling on one side are it's an ugly situation. Is it like going to destroy the knife? Well, okay, in terms of the review, no, it's still a pretty nice knife. Weird one. But yeah, that's always the kind of thing I have to be on the lookout for, and it's the kind of thing that can be a very nasty surprise for somebody. Like if they absolutely, if they, like me, want their tools to be long-term serviceable, now I know that I need to not use Loctite on this. And what's frustrating is that this pivot is D-shaped. They just didn't machine the D-shape into the other side here. Or if they did so in such a way that it was still able to spin at some level. I have no idea what's... maybe they installed it backwards, or like past a certain point it pops through out of there. Look, I don't know exactly what's going on here, but all I know is that that was free spinning, and that's just not great. Maybe there's some way around that. Maybe, if it, I don't know. But some issue there was an issue. Because, yeah, okay, that's probably what happened, is like when the show side came through, because this is on the show side of it, and then after a moment it sort of popped back out, which meant that this was now hovering above the D-shaped area. This is why both sides of it, or more particularly the side that's closest to the, or the side that has the D shape on it, is where the D shape needs to go. It's not, I don't know, it's one of those things I struggle to evaluate the importance of. But look, okay, I've been ranting about this one particular issue for like 3.5 minutes here. I might as well talk about the inside of the knife. What we see on the inside of this knife is actually pretty standard fare at this point. We do have this little area, so there's an inlay inside the G10 with what looks to be some stainless steel there, and that allows the knife to, the bearings to roll not against G10, which is a beautiful thing. You can see the blade is well done, the finishing is good, no real complaints about any of that. We can see here we have a ceramic detent ball, we have ceramic bearings on this guy as well, which, again, no complaints whatsoever. It's always nice, and, yeah, I mean, everything seems to be about as expected in here, except for that weird little pivot issue, but, yeah, aside from that, it's fine. It's worth noting that this knife was a little bit less speedy than I kind of thought it would. There felt like there was some grit in here. As you probably noticed, there was a little bit of, the grease they were using was quite thick and a little bit ugly. So I'm hoping that once I've got this guy cleaned out, things are going to look a little prettier, things are going to look a little better. So, here's what we're going to go ahead and do. We're going to reassemble this knife. And so, I know that I need to have this little HEA right here in a very specific orientation, such that the D-shaped side on this side matches up. See, again, this is backwards. They should have tooled the D-shaped side rather than tooling the screw. He says, oh, whoa, I have a fire and brimstone over here. But no, that would have been a slight improvement here. But anyway, so I need to make sure that stays in the right orientation. Now I'm going to use some 10-weight nano oil. And if you're ever curious about the tools I'm using for this disassembly or any other, check my disassembly toolkit video. But I'm going to use a little bit of nano oil right here. drop it into here using this cute little applicator tip on there. Go ahead and rotate these bearings just to make sure they get a nice coating of oil here. A little lighter oil than the grease it was put together with initially. Again, just kind of rotating the grease around the outside there. Okay, now we drop this little dude onto here. There is a stop pin here. I will reinsert the stop pin. Beautiful. Stop pin is in. Now we drop on a bearing. You know, this is at some level a very straightforward knife. In terms of construction, it looks like anything else. These are made overseas. The maker is HEA, that is very plays his cards close to his chest regarding who makes these. If I were a betting man, I would say we have a pretty good idea who made it. We have a pretty good idea, but I don't know that for sure. Don't take that as gospel. But looking at some of these parts, like for instance this the tent ball or the lock bar insert here, etc., the bearings, ceramics, all that, this looks a whole lot like We knives. But again, I don't know that for sure. And honestly, that's something I'm not a big fan of. I really appreciate transparency from makers. I mean, he's not trying to tell anybody they're not, like he's not playing the, oh yeah, made in the USA game when it's not. As far as I can tell, you know, there's no reference anywhere to his stuff being made in the States on his website or anything like that. So, you know, it's not like scammy, but it's just not great either. So, yeah, because you can see here, look, when I've got this guy fully inserted, you can see the D shape is just barely in contact. So if this lifts up even the little tiniest bit, it becomes a free spinning pivot. And so that's why by pressing in, it wasn't getting friction on the other side. Okay, by pressing in, I was actually just holding it so that it's still engaged with the D-shaped face of that. Whatever. Not a huge deal, but like I said, this might be a little bit better off had it been the screw down side is the part of the Chicago screw. Actually, that wouldn't have worked at all, because if you put the screw on the part that's D-shaped, you can't turn it. So, but if you put the D-shaped part, yeah, well, you'd have to put the screw side on the show side. But you couldn't put, okay, yeah, that's probably why it had to work out this way. See, this is the problem with being me. I mean, there are many problems with being me, but one of them is the simple fact that I'm not an engineer for these things. So my initial thought here, and let me, just to be fair to the maker, let me kind of share what I've realized in my thinking here. So you can't put the screw hole on this side of things because then you would be trying to turn something that cannot turn. So that doesn't work. You cannot put the, and similarly, you can't put the D-shaped side into the G10 here because torque against the G10 is probably not going to be a great idea. Maybe it's fine. Maybe there's no concern there. And so, you know, realizing it, there seems to have been just like well, you know, this is the best solution we've got, even though it wasn't necessarily a great solution. To just, okay, we'll put the screw on the back side here, and also just to try and keep the show side a little prettier is probably the other reason. You know, had he put this, you know, if he reinstalled the pivot backwards, such that the screw side was in the front, it'd be a little less pretty, but it would probably be a little more functional. But either way, those are the things that it's very easy for me to miss out on, having not actually designed knives. I have no doubt that, you know, even as a prominent, this is, you know, the difference I always talk about between being a critic and a chef. I mean, I can talk a lot about other people cooking, but at the end of the day, you set me down with a freaking, you know, bowl of pasta. Well, no, not bowl of pasta. You know, set me down with some pasta and some sauce, and I'm damn near lost. You know, similarly, if I was trying to set this out and design this from scratch, I don't think I could do better than this, but I certainly can comment from the end. Yo, that's smoother. From the end perspective, end user perspective, that is, about, you know, what I'm seeing that's working well and not so much. This is way smoother now. Whatever they were using at the factory in terms of lubrication was not stellar. Okay, there's a little bit of play, so let me tighten this down further. All right. Here we go. Yeah, that's nice. It's much nicer. Just in terms of the overall smoothness of it, it did get better. Not that it was bad, but it just got better. But anyways, all of this comes to say, not only have we disassembled, maintained this knife, but all of this comes to say that, that's the difficulty with doing what I do, being who I am. I need to always try and remember that even though I may have these ideas and these opinions, I don't necessarily understand all the problems in play. And something that at very first might seem like, oh, that's a stupid thing. And I try to think about these things, is there a reason? In that case, yeah, there was. That seems to be the best solution he could have had there. But at the same time, so things that I initially think, oh, wow, it may not actually be. I try to catch those things, but I have no doubt that there are things I'm missing. And if you're a maker watching this for some reason, because you're a masochist too or something like that, I don't freaking know. But anyways, if you're a maker and you ever see me say something stupid about something you made, like, oh, wow, that's a bad idea, you should have done otherwise and you couldn't have done otherwise, let me know in the comments. Seriously, if you're giving me information, I'm never going to complain. Well, I may complain, but I'm always going to be grateful. So, anyways, long story short, that's how you disassemble, maintain this knife. This is a rant about the nature of reviewing things that you do not build. And, yeah, there we go. Hope this has been interesting to you, and just have yourselves an absolutely wonderful rest of your day. Bye now.